Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Yoked Crypto. In today's video, we're going to be going over everything you need to know about enhancing in MapleStory N. So the two topics we're going to cover today is going to be Starforcing and cubing. We're going to be talking about flaming in a separate video later on down the line. So the first topic I want to cover is going to be dynamic enhancing. MapleStory N is unique because the enhancement rates are not fixed. They are instead based off of supply and demand. As you can see here, the star forcing cost for this item is 144k, and for an item such as the Fafnir weapon, you can get up to 2 million. The more powerful the equipment is, it tends to be way more expensive to enhance because more players are enhancing it. And if you wanted to check the enhancement cost for all the items inside the game, you can go over to the website and you can just search up the item. Because of the dynamic rates in this game, it's hard to say exactly what item you want to enhance first, but generally you want to prioritize items that are high value, such as the weapon. But in most cases, you actually want to enhance the cheaper items, such as your accessories first, because they have way better odds of tearing up, and they also give you a significant amount of damage. Additionally, a lot of your accessories stay around much longer than the rest of your equipment as well. That means you're usually investing into something that has high value and is extremely future proof. The first enhancement system we're going to cover is going to be star forcing. And what is star forcing? Well, star forcing is basically a system inside the game where you are able to obtain stars, and for each additional star inside your equipment, you're able to gain additional stats. As you can see here, at 11 through 12 stars, it's a 45% chance to succeed. 16 through 17 star is a 30% chance to succeed. So the item itself gets progressively harder to star force, but in return, you're able to get additional stats. So one of the topics I want to talk about are going to be the thresholds that this game has. And the thresholds are going to be 10 star, 15 star, and 20 star. Basically, these thresholds count as benchmarkers where players should look to stop at. In the early game, going through 10 stars is relatively easy because it has a high percentage chance to succeed. It gives you a lot of early game damage. However, the majority of the damage from items come from anything above 15 stars. That means items that can go up to 20 stars or even 25 stars have a ton of value because they give you so much more damage compared to the other items. For example, as you can see here, my dominating pendant gives me attack, which gives you a ton of damage. Meanwhile, the stats that you get from 11 through 12 stars are just flat stat and they don't give you that much either. So the next topic I want to cover is going to be major failure prevention. So what is major failure? So major failure is a system inside the game where anything above 12 stars has a percent chance to go back down all the way to 10 stars. As you can see here, I have a 2.1% chance to major failure, and I can use major failure prevention to stop that from happening. This, however, increases the price of enhancing by double, but usually it is better to use this above 15 stars. Anything below 15 stars is definitely not worth using. However, after 17 stars, you are not able to use this feature anymore. So 17 star is going to be the best place to stop for the majority of players. So the next topic I want to cover is going to be item enhancement priority. So in general, you want to enhance your weapon first because it gives you flat attack. Even from 0 through 10 stars, it gives you a ton of attack. That means that your weapon going from 0 through 10 gives way more value than the rest of your equipment. However, some items such as the Fafnir can be very expensive to enhance at that point. So you can, stop depending on how much it costs. Other items you want to prioritize are going to be any items that can get above 15 stars because you can get to 17 star. And in general, you want to focus on items that are very future proof, such as the Dominator Pendant or the Black Beam Mark. Even the earrings are really good because these do not get replaced ever. In general, you always want to go from the cheapest one to enhance to the most expensive because this will give you the most value for the cost. The next topic I want to cover is going to be rouletting. So what is rouletting? Well, rouletting is basically working on your items all one by one, gradually, slowly. This only applies to anything above 15 stars. So rather than working on one item at a time, you want to get through everything one by one. As you can see here, my penguin belt is 18 star. Rather than going to 19 star on the penguin belt, it's a lot better to just go to 18 star on the CRA top because I am almost guaranteed my damage gains and I have higher odds of getting it to 18 star. So just round everything up, getting all of your items to 10 star is a good starting point. And after that, we can start focusing on items that can get up to 17 star. We want to focus on our accessories because they have a much higher staying power, and our weapon because it gives you the most damage, we want to use major failure prevention, anything above 15 stars, and we want to roulette our items to guarantee more damage. So the next topic I want to talk about is going to be cubing our items. So there are 5 cubes inside of the game, and I'm going to explain what each one does and which one you should use to enhance your items. So the first cube I'm going to talk about is going to be the occult cubes. These are going to be the cubes that you will use to reveal your item. And the only time you should use this cube is either 1, you're revealing your item's potential, or 2, is when you're trying to get 3% of your main stat or 3% attack, something along those lines. You basically just use this as a really cheap option to get very cheap damage in the early game. I would not use this to try to tier up to, because the odds are extremely low, and it's probably a lot cheaper if you were just to use a different cube instead. And the next cube I'm going to talk about is going to be the bonus occult cube. As before, you're going to use this to reveal the bonus potential, and it can be used in the early game to get some cheap damage by giving you percent stat. So the next cube we're going to talk about is going to be the black cube. Black cube is very important because it's the cube that we're going to use to tier up our equipment. The tier up rate on this cube is substantially higher than all the other cubes. So you always want to use this cube to tier up. It doesn't matter if it's rare, epic, or unique. You always want to use this cube to tier up. The nice thing about the black cube is you can choose before and after. Once we are at legendary, we want to start using the red cubes to reroll our enhancements. Now the last cube I want to talk about is going to be the bonus potential cube. This cube you're going to be using to tier up and using it to find the lines that you want. So now that I explained all the cubes, I want to talk about what items you want to prioritize first. So the 3 most important items that you want to tier up first is going to be the emblem, the secondary, and the weapon. All 3 of these items are extremely important because they give you the best lines in the entire game. As you can see here, this emblem gives me 12% attack, 9% attack, and 30% defense ignored. And the secondary gives me boss damage, attack, and defense ignored. These will give you a ton of damage, and if you do not have these lines on any of your items, it's probably the reason why you don't do any damage. In particular, I would focus on enhancing the emblem and the secondary because the weapon enhancements are extremely expensive depending on what kind of weapon you have. And additionally, the weapon and the secondary pretty much are best in slot forever. You will pretty much never replace these items, which means you can spend a ton on them. And the next set of items that we want to focus on is going to be our accessories. The reason why you want to focus on accessories are because they are extremely future-proof and they have the highest odds of getting you the lines that you want. So as you can see here, I have 3 lines of usable stat. However, on my pants, I only have 2 lines of usable stats. Some of the other items, such as the pants, have a lot of junk lines, which means it's a lot harder to hit the lines that you want. So not only are these items more future-proof, but in generally, they are easier to hit the stat that you want as well. Now, I also do want to talk about some of the other notable enhancements other items have, such as the glove. The gloves in particular, you're able to get percent critical damage and decent sharp eyes, which makes them extremely high value because these 2 stat lines give you a lot of damage. Other notable lines are going to be your shoes, which gives you decent combat orders. I don't have it on my hat, but it gives you a minus cooldown as one of the lines. Now that we talked about all the cubes and what kind of items you want to prioritize, let's talk about some of the lines that we are looking for. So in particular, the emblem, secondary, and the weapon. Ideally, at least at this point in the game, you want at least 3 lines of defense ignored, split between all 3 items. So as you can see here, I have 1 line of defense ignored here and on my secondary, as well as on my weapon. And the reason why this is so important is because if you do not have enough defense ignored, you will not be able to do any damage to the boss at all. Other lines we're looking for is going to be attack percentage lines. This gives you a ton of damage, and boss damage line. In general, on your main potential, boss damage line is a lot more optimal, but if you end up hitting percent attack, it's also really good. On the rest of your items, all you're going to be looking for is going to be percentage of your main stat. And the more lines you have of it, the better. Now let's talk about bonus potentials and what kind of lines we're looking for. So on the weapon, emblem, and secondary, we're looking for attack lines in particular. Crit rate is also really good if you need it. And boss damage percentage is also decent. And for the bonus potential cubes, the lines that you're looking for are going to be any of the stat percentage lines and the flat attack lines. The flat attack lines are actually really good. Another line that is going to be really good is going to be stat per 10 character levels. So those 3 lines in particular are going to be what you're looking for while you roll down for your bonus potential cubes. And as before, the more lines you have on your equipment, the better. And that's it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.